And we're rolling. We're rolling. Arezu, thank you so much for joining me this Friday. It's been an honor to finally get you on. I was just looking at our DMs the other day and I was like, holy fuck, it's been almost a year that we've kind of been going back and forth and
Yep.
just me trying to bother you to get on here just because I love everything that you're doing. And, the relationship there is always like, oh, I'm a mom, a fit
Yep.
mom. You also have the MMA love. And so I appreciate you taking the time today on a Friday before, you do your thing. So
Yeah.
how's life? I know you moved recently. I'm here in SoCal Inland Empire. Where you at?
Oh, I'm actually in South Orange County, so you're not too far from me. I should have just came and visited you.
Actually, probably would for sure. I could squeeze somebody in here. I haven't done any like in person recordings because I do it out of my house. And so I'm in like this room and I'm always like, it's too tight to do that. But I may start doing
Yeah.
that because it makes it fun, especially when I get back to smoking. Because as you
Yes.
know, now I'm expecting numero 3 for babies.
Gonna
And
be
yeah,
awesome.
it's funny because I found out on my 39th birthday and the week of my 39th birthday, and I honestly thought I was like going to be stepping into my 40s to where it was like no more diapers, no more of that baby shit. But now I was like, I was in denial, seriously, for 2 weeks. I kept looking at the test like, no way, no way. But you know how it is. You have 3 kids,
Yep.
and after the second one, you kinda know your body and just the way I was feeling, and I was getting these weird, like I never got a lot of morning sickness, but just if I felt like throwing up, I knew that wasn't, like, my normal self.
Normal. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was, like, feeling that weirdness, and I was like,
You're like,
"Oh, I."
something's off.
Mhm. And I was doing, like, syncing my fucking period with the moon, and so I knew, like, when the
Oh.
full moon came I actually had it written on my fucking mirror where I get ready in fucking lip liner, like, August 14th or something was my last period, and I was like, "Okay, we are, like, going into October and still nothing." Yep, I think I
Oh.
know this is real. Yeah, so I told my husband, he was like, "Cool." And I was like, "Yeah, cool." Like, "Yeah, of course." Guys are always like, "Cool." I mean,
You're like,
no.
cool for you, but it's my body.
Yeah. I always tell him I'm only 5'3", and I feel like it's a lot on little I mean, I guess it's a lot
Yes.
for every woman, but the smaller framed we are, I feel like
Mhm.
it's a lot. So,
Yes.
just trying to go with it. I mean, I only get like my first one, I gained a lot of weight because I was just eating like shit and doing whatever. My second one, I was like, no, I don't want to gain more than like the 30, 40 pounds because it's just a lot on my body. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't know how it was for you having your girls, but any tips for the moms out there, expecting
Ooh.
moms?
I think that for my journey, it was kind of different because my first one was similar to yours. I just kind of sent it, did whatever. My second one, I was a little more cautious. At that point, I was lifting already. So I was trying to kind of maintain like a healthier pregnancy than the first one. And then by my third one, I was full blown like holistic mom. I would consider myself crunchy at that point. And I was lifting all the time, but it was during the COVID era. So I ended up actually getting sick my third trimester. And I lost like 12 pounds. It was crazy. And I was like terrified to go to the hospital because I was very crunchy at the time. So I was
Yeah.
just like, I don't want to go in there. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to take whatever medicine they're telling me to take. And so I just kind of nursed it at home. I don't know if this is good advice or not. But
I'm in the same boat. Yep.
I ended up being okay and the baby was fine. I guess at that point your body goes into like self-preservation and it sends all of your things to your baby.
Yep.
So, I mean, she came out great and healthy and everything was awesome. She was my only one that I had fully natural with no medication, which I'm very proud of. However, I wouldn't say it's for the weak either. I think I chose to do it the right way by doing it last because
Yeah.
I don't know that I would have done all three. that road if I would have done it first, you know?
Oh my god, that's so funny you bring that up because that's what I've been saying. I say it with all of them, like, "No, I'm not gonna do it," because I feel like I've been like, always preached. I mean, like, I won't even take Tylenol. I've never been the
Yeah,
type to go to the doctors.
yeah.
Um, I just always been that way since I was
Mhm.
younger. I don't know if it's just, like, something that I've picked up because my parents were also, like, just go
Yeah.
by the book, and I've always been the black sheep of, like, questioning things.
Mhm.
But baby 1, I was like, "No." I even had a friend that was a doula, and she's like, "Try to do a home birth and, find a birth center," and I didn't find any of that, so I ended up I think at that time it was Kaiser I had, and
Mhm.
Kaiser fucking loves to give you the fucking works if
Oh, yeah.
possible.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I went in there with a paper, like a birth plan and everything, and they were like, cool story," and just fucking put it aside.
Yeah.
I got the fucking works for him, and I was in the hospital from, like, Monday through Friday.
Oh my gosh.
I went in there Monday just for a checkup because I was 40 weeks in, like, 1 day or something, and I guess my blood pressure was not good, and so they're like, "We're just gonna keep you, and we're gonna try to make you have the baby." So I got the balloon I got the
Everything.
pills, Pitocin, the balloons, I got the fucking fisting.
Oh my god.
When
You
they're
know,
like,
I'm glad
"Let
that
me
you're
check."
so honest about it though, because for me, I feel like I had no idea. Like, especially with natural birth, and then even with like for my first two, they gave me an epidural for both of them, and I honestly was like terrified of the epidural, and the nurses were just like I had such a bad experience with the epidural, and that's actually why I wanted to go natural with the last one because it was so traumatizing that I was like, you know what? It's going to be traumatizing either way.
No,
Let me at
no,
least
girl.
try to not go through the first
I got
way.
epidural. I say all of this, and then I ended up getting epidural.
Yeah,
The
but
first
mine were
one
like
was
they were just pumping me, and I would say that I wouldn't want it anymore because it was making me feel
oh,
nauseous, and they would just keep going.
yeah.
And one of my nurses was like, if you throw up, it might help you push better. And I'm just like, what is wrong with you?
That's the one thing, like, I talk about or don't talk about so much, but being that you're a mom, you like you said, the nurses are different.
Yeah.
They're fucking so rude for me.
Yeah. It's
They
crazy.
don't care, and I mean, the first one, they had, some sort of intern program happening, so I had, like, 9
Oh,
nurses
wow.
looking at my vagina, like, spread open.
It's like they
It
don't even really give you an option either unless someone's there to advocate for you. You
Yep.
know, it's like
Yep,
you're already out of it. You're partially on drugs. Like you
yeah.
could, they didn't believe me when I told them that I couldn't feel my legs or move my legs from the epidural. The lady was like, "No, you're fine. Just move them." And I was trying to hoist my own leg like with my hands, like I was trying
Holding your
to pick
own
it
leg,
up.
100%. I remember even my husband, like, holding one leg, and then they wanted to flip me from left to right.
Yeah.
It's like you don't even feel the bottom half of it, and especially
No.
if they're, like, pumping it and pumping it.
Yeah.
So that was my first one.
Really
Thankfully, my
scary.
second one, it wasn't so scary. Um it was during COVID, and maybe that was the difference. I felt the contractions at home. I kinda slept through them as much as I could, but I was kinda up all night, and I was like, "Okay, this baby's, like, for sure coming." So I think by, like, 6 AM, I was like, "Send me," "Take me to the hospital." I remember him having to just drop me off because they wouldn't let him in until I had my own room because of COVID.
Oh,
And
that's
I was, like,
crazy.
walking through the hospital, fucking just holding the wall every time it came, and by the time I got admitted, they were like, "Oh, you're 4 centimeters already," and I was like, "Okay, this is completely different versus my first one where I wasn't dilated at all because they were doing everything."
Yeah.
And she came out, like, by 11:30, I had already had her, so I'm fucking hoping that it's the same deal for baby 3. The whole
Yeah.
thing is like, "Oh, your body knows what it's doing by the time you have 1
Mhm.
baby, they'll fucking slide right out." But I heard some women are like, "No, that's not." Like, I just watched, somebody's podcast talking about their 4th baby, and her body was, like, barely at 1 centimeters, and it's like, "Okay, so I guess it's just different." I always say, "Okay, I'm just gonna go with the flow of whatever he
Yeah.
wants to do." And I just hope for safe. Like I didn't tear very much. I didn't tear with him. I had a small like internal tear or something like that with her. So they had very small stitches, but it was
Mhm.
inside. But like the horror stories that you're
Oh
like,
yeah. Oh yeah, I
what
had
a
horror stories with
time.
the first two, but I think the last one, because I didn't do any meds, it was like my body just kicked into gear, like you're saying. So she was the easiest. I don't want to say the easiest because it was the most painful, but she was like the quickest. Like
Okay.
literally, I went in, it was like maybe 3 hours max. And by the time I started pushing, it was like three pushes.
Oh
And that
wow.
was it. Like one, two, on the third one, I shot her out like a football.
That's what I want. I want to shoot him out like a fucking football. Like the fucking baseball things that just comes right out.
Yeah, yeah, because okay, I don't know how graphic we should get on your podcast,
I think
but yeah, at this point, I had been doing. I did like a midwife unit inside of a hospital,
oh, that's cool.
so it
I
was
didn't know
super cool because
that's an
then I
option.
had, yeah, I didn't know that I had that option either. But I did a little research and I found it, and I ended up getting it in like my third trimester. I was like, you know what, I'm switching. I'm going to do it because I found something that aligns better.
Okay.
And so I kind of took the reins a little more with like, I didn't want to lay down. I wanted to like just move however my body felt like moving at the time. So I was actually like squatting on the bed.
Yeah.
I'm like, this
Like,
is so crazy.
that's what I think they said that as long as you don't get the epidural, then they will
Yeah.
allow you to do the squatting.
Oh.
Um,
I feel like gravity wise, because if you think about like all the ones that when I had to do an epidural for the first two, it's like you're laying down, your feet are back, like it's going to take longer because that's not the natural way of like gravity pushing the baby out.
yeah, I came
So,
across this thing that was like, it's weird that they tell you not to sleep on your back when you're pregnant, and then when you go into labor, you're like pushing on your back.
Mhm.
So yeah, this time around, I'm like, no, I'm going to be pretty stiff about. Honestly, I'm still playing with the idea of epidural. I really don't know what's going to happen. I have
Yeah.
this weird thing with my blood pallets. Like, I don't, is it called pallets? I don't know if it's pallets or plates or some shit like that. To
Oh,
where,
platelets. Yes, yes.
yeah, that was a big deal for baby one, not so much for baby two. So they were like, your time, your pallets, we have to keep checking or whatever it's called. Didn't happen with baby two so much, but still
Well,
playing with.
like an iron thing, like you're going to lose too much blood.
I don't know what the like my numbers weren't there,
Okay.
so if your numbers aren't there of the certain blood cells, then you can't get an epidural, or the anesthesiologist doesn't want to do it on people that have that type of blood. I don't know. And I'm
Okay.
also the rare blood type, so I don't know. It was a big deal, but this time around, I'm also going to be like negative on all the baby fucking shit because now
Mhm.
I've definitely become crunchy. It's like, no, they don't need a hepatitis B or whatever the fuck it is. The
All
ice.
that stuff immediately.
Yeah, all these little like pricks that they get that
Yeah.
eventually they just send for some fucking person to do data on. And I'm like,
Yeah. And
no.
they don't even tell you the baby's blood type after they do all that too, which is like mind blowing to me. I'm
Yeah,
like, you're injecting them with a ton of stuff, but you won't even tell me like what their blood type is or anything in case of emergency. It's just
yeah,
odd.
yeah, that, and then they come in with this like $2,000, hey, we want to do a photography shoot, and I'm like, the fuck? No, I do definitely no, thank you. I could do
Yeah.
that my damn self. But yeah, no, I think motherhood and going into all experiencing that is different for everybody. And there's so
Yeah.
many horror stories, but there's also beautiful stories.
Oh yeah.
I admire the ones that, do it at home. Crazy. One of my girlfriends did a home birth, and, they had to eventually go to the hospital because of emergencies.
That's
And
scary.
she got called on like neglect, and CPS came to visit.
No way.
And it's crazy because it's like, well, if she's a holistic type of person,
Yeah.
like, how is that neglect? And didn't she show up at the hospital to not make it neglect? Things like that is so fucking weird to me that our like society is
Systems.
so quick to do to moms, especially having
Yeah.
to deal with labor, and then you're gonna somebody like that to your door to give you more anxiety and it's
Mhm.
crazy. So
Yeah, I
I try
wanted to
to
do
talk.
that. And I was looking into it initially for like a home water birth. And I think it was like somewhere between nine and $12,000. And I was like, that is fucking crazy that I have to pay to have a baby at home
You're,
in
yeah.
like a blow up water, jacuzzi situation. This is
Yep.
nuts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
same here. So I'm like, you know what, we have insurance. Let's just do that. But this time I want to
yes.
be adamant about what I don't want. Definitely don't want the fucking like 12 women in there just
Yeah.
analyzing everything that's happening.
Yeah.
Little things now that I feel confident after, I think it comes with age. It comes
Yeah.
with however many times you've had a baby that you become a little bit more comfortable being like, no,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm good with that. But yeah, no, motherhood's crazy. I'm excited to meet the little guy. I know you have three, so you probably are like, well, get ready for the roller coaster. I always tell people
Yeah,
it's a fun roller coaster. Some days it's
it
good,
is.
some days it's a little wild. And
I
that
mean, I couldn't imagine life without them though, you
yeah,
know? Like I feel like I had my first one I was 24. So at that time I was still I feel a baby.
yeah,
But I was making a lot of bad life choices. And so I feel like every day I look at her and I'm just like you changed my life.
yeah,
You know? Like you're the one that changed my life and made me a mom. And it really does like change your world as much as we complain about like being pregnant and our bodies changing and all the things that we go through. It's like the second that you're holding that baby, nothing matters. Like you don't even think about all the stuff that you went through. You're like, oh my gosh, I have the most perfect like little being ever in my hands right now. And it just, I don't know. And then as they get older, it's just constant entertainment too. You look at them and you're like, you're little psychos. But
yeah,
honestly, like I've never laughed so hard, like you
yeah.
watch them and you're like, what?
Where did that come from?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a perfect way to put it. I just told another a friend that is expecting in September for her first one that it makes you it like really gives you your purpose and aligns you with it. And it like
Yeah.
for me, I don't have a close relationship with my mom, and now having a daughter. I mean, obviously my
Like you
son
get it
too.
all over again.
Yeah, I feel like I get the chance
Yeah.
to be a good mom to
Have that.
her and
Yeah.
have that type of relationship. And so it is crazy what kids do to you. I mean, as much as it's hard, it's a challenge, I should say.
Yeah.
They do make us a better, like,
Yeah.
just human being, and I think
Yeah. Yeah.
it's beautiful.
I do. It's awesome.
But, with that said, tell us a little bit about what you do. I don't I mean, I know you're on social media, but what
Yeah.
do you do for, like, work? How did you get into, like, what you're into now as far as your fitness and jujitsu? That part is always interesting to me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, let me kn let's everybody know what you do.
Okay. So, I mean, as of right now, I'm mostly a stay-at-home mom. Um, a little background of that was that I worked forever and then I decided to homeschool my kids, which I think you're doing that, right?
Trying, girl, trying. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
I mean,
whole
I'm
different
not one to
ballgame.
preach because both of mine now are in a charter school because they wanted to. So it was kind of like a dagger to the heart. It's like, after years of doing this with you, you want to go back to regular school,
Yeah, as
which
older.
sucked. But at the same time, like I'm trying to navigate the balance of like making them happy and making me happy and doing what's best for them and, all of that. I'm little by little trying to get into tattooing, but that's kind of just a door that I'm slightly opening because I like to be creative. So that's hopefully in the future, but we'll see.
Yes.
And
Always need
then
a
jujitsu and
tattoo.
fitness. I'm sorry?
I said always need a good tattoo person.
Yeah. Fitness, I feel like I started early on. I was 21, I'm 36 now. So I didn't really do sports or anything like that growing up. I got into just straight lifting when I was 21, and I was very much into like the bodybuilding style of lifting. So I didn't do very much stretching or cardio or anything with mobility, which has really fucked me over for jujitsu now.
I feel that.
They're very bendy, and you got to do a lot of bending. And people laugh at me because when I try to do the bending, it's like my spine is just like straight, and I'm just on my neck, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm working on that now. But I think that lifting kind of gave me a little bit of a roadmap of the type of like dedication that it takes to do jujitsu now. I got into jujitsu. I think it's been like 2.5 years now. Um, and that's a whole other story because I started that like terrified out of my mind. I had always wanted to do it. My parents were very much like, you're a girl, why would you want to mess up your face? And they always had kind of that reaction. So it was never really like embraced or pushed. However, my brother is a black belt and owns his own gym in Vancouver, Canada. So I did get to kind of like watch it through him, and I would like playfully fight him all the time. But it was one of those like inner child things. Like I always wanted to do it as a kid, and I never got to do it. So finally, after like 34, 33 and a half, 34 years of living my life for everyone else and my kids and everything, I was like, let me just go and take a class. I snuck into a 6 a.m. class, hoping that I wouldn't recognize anyone and that I could just like slowly back away if it made me uncomfortable and disappear. And it was honestly one of the most awkward classes ever because they were doing this crazy move that had like 100 steps, and you had to be, there were no girls, you had to be like in the person's like hip area. So it was just like right down here. I thought they were kidding. When they were telling me what to do, I was like, I'm being fucked with right now. Like this is some weird hazing thing. But yeah, I ended up coming back. What's that say about me?
I like that. I like it. That was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I feel like I tend to like manically laugh in weird situations and situations where I'm uncomfortable.
It's my
And
husband.
so it's just, yeah, it's just been like 3 years of manic laughter while I'm like getting choked out or choking people out. So it's been great.
That is awesome. Yeah, I think, that's where we align for the most part as far as being stay-home moms, still being very active, homeschooling, all types of shit like that. And
Yeah.
then just your love for the mat. I mean, I grew up doing mixed martial arts, nothing like jiu-jitsu. I always say I need to try that. It feels like something that I'm missing because everything was on my feet.
Uh,
So, not only that, I've heard like it's really good for those who have high anxiety, and I have high
yes.
anxiety, like learning how to breathe through holds. And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Ooh, I don't know how I would do with that." But yeah, same thing with just doing lifting. And I did lifting in between, but then I did like body competition, and that's where I really learned how to do more of like the golden era body like lifting type of workouts. And same, just like I find myself more into like doing something that's heavy or hit to do slow movements like yoga and mobility stuff. I feel like I have to train myself to do that, and
Yeah.
it's like not in me.
It's like a
But
mental thing, right?
yeah, like it feels boring, but
Yeah.
I know I need it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's crazy for me as far as like trying to figure out now, especially because it's all about me going. I'm going to be 40 next year, but like longevity is more of a thing now. And our
Hmm.
body starts to tell you, like, no, you're not doing
Yeah.
that anymore. Or you should have stretched after that, or you shouldn't have gone that hard because I don't know about you, but do you take any pre-workouts,
Oh
supplements?
yeah.
Oh my
Oh
god,
yeah.
I'm the
I can't, I'm so
went from
bad.
being 20.
Pre-workout is like every day. Like that's like my coffee in the morning. Like even if I'm not working out, I'm like, this is what I have in the morning to start my day.
I'm the
Just to
same.
like bring me to where I need to be. And then if I'm working out later, I'll probably have like a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have like do you use just the ones that are pre-made already, or do you have a supplement like a brand, a powder?
I like Nitroflex
Okay.
by GAT. They're made in the US, and I feel like they're pretty clean. So I've just stuck with them for pretty much the majority of my stuff. I have tried different like BCAAs and glutamine and all those things, but I find it really hard to stay consistent with so many things.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm good at it, and sometimes I'm just like, this is too much for me. And if I made it into the gym and I worked out today or I went to jujitsu, that's a win in itself. Like, don't be hard
Yeah.
on yourself.
Yeah, you guys sweat a lot in jiu-jitsu. Like, when I see your guys's mats and, like, pictures afterwards, you guys look like
Yeah,
you
it's gross.
showered.
Yeah.
Low-key gross for me. I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know if I could have somebody sweat on me like that, and like you said, your guys'
Oh,
like,
you don't even want to hear the horror stories. Like, people
movement.
will sweat in your mouth. Like, one of my first classes when I left, and at this point, I wasn't sweating a lot because I don't know, my body just, I don't know if I wasn't drinking enough water, I wasn't pushing myself hard enough, but I wasn't sweating a lot at that time. I left and my rash guard was like, I could wring it. And I knew that it wasn't mine. Like, it was like completely someone else's
Oh,
sweat
is
just
that
from like rolling
like
around with
is
them.
that the shirts that you guys wear?
Yeah, 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 like the spandexy tops. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's funny. I asked that because somebody had told me about getting, like, custom-made rash guards, and for some reason, I don't know why I think it's shin guards, but now I know. I'm like, "Okay, that's what you guys call that, rash guards." Oh, yeah, no, dude, I mean, were you ever into UFC, like, before
Oh
you
yeah.
got into jiu-jitsu?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've always loved the sport, and I feel like I've always like followed a lot of the old like style Ronda Rousey and all those things. Like I used to love watching all that stuff. And
Yeah.
although I do get kind of weird because I love violent stuff, but there's an extent, like the old Bellator and stuff like that, where you're like
Oh,
kicking people when they're down. I'm like, I
yeah, the
can't
pride
look at
fight.
this.
Yeah, yeah, those were raw as hell. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I grew up the same, watching the, like, Gracies, Ken Shamrock, like, I'm probably taking
yeah,
it way the fuck back,
yeah.
but, I don't follow it too much now, but I even used to watch, like, the UFC reality show where they'd all go
Oh
into the
yeah,
house.
like the Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, 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 exactly. So
Yeah,
I've always loved, just, I think, I don't know if it came from me growing up doing mixed martial arts, but I've always loved it and I always admire the people that are in there, and then UFC came
yeah,
out and you just see, like, all the different styles.
yeah,
The one thing that always was great, like, watching, I think it's Machado, I think that's his name, I can't remember,
yeah.
but
The
the Grace,
karate guy,
yeah,
right?
the Gracies, and how, like, it looks like it's effortless for them to take someone out with the things that they did on the mat, and that's when I realized, like, okay, being on your feet's one thing, but when you can really put people in those, like, you grab their hand in a certain way, and those, like, headlocks, everything all on the floor just seems so different, and it seems
Yeah, it's very different. Actually, the
like,
lineage that like 10th Planet comes from, I don't know if were you talking about like Jean-Jacques Machado?
yes, 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 yes.
Okay,
So,
so
like,
he actually has like he was born with not a full formed hand. And so his whole style was how like 10th Planet got invented pretty much. Like Eddie
okay.
Bravo trained under him. And it's a lot of like clinch
Yep.
thing, like overhook clinch style things because he didn't have like just regular
Oh, I
grip.
didn't know that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's wild. And so now there's like a whole level of, you know, jujitsu that was pretty much developed from that, which is like crazy.
Yeah, there's a couple women that I follow that practice jujitsu. Some of them are instructors. They kind of do they're also world wrestlers. So I see kind of like
So cool.
the mat thing is like a style, and definitely something that I think everybody should try at least once, or, like, learn it,
Yeah.
the basics of it. Now I'm seeing, like, parents post, like, shit on Instagram of their, like, younger kid kind of, like, manning the older kid who has not done jujitsu, and just the different, like, locks that they get put in. I
Yeah.
know I see a lot of yours, and how many matches have you done?
Oh, I'm not really sure. I think I don't know how many matches to be honest. At least 10, probably. I just recently started getting into pretty much once I hit like 6 months into training, I started competing as often as I could until I had that like 8 months of, I had some weird like health gut thing going on. So I wasn't
Okay.
able to train for a while. And then once I was healed up again, I was like, okay, now we're going to hit the ball rolling again and do as many as I can. That's not to say that I do well at all of them, but I feel like it's kind of a fast track to learning things more too, because it puts you in like this high stress situation. And it's hard to say because I feel like when you're competing, it's like you're only utilizing a small percentage of what you learn
I bet.
because
Yeah.
you're under so much stress. I don't, is it like that with MMA as well?
I
Or are
mean,
you just reacting?
I did it when I was younger, so I
Okay.
competed in taekwondo matches, which is nothing like actually
Yeah.
UFC, but I just remember being, like, super hyped just to be in that crowd, just to
Yeah.
be, like, the event, put everybody together, your
Yeah.
your teammates there, watching them do their thing, and for
Yeah.
me, it was me and my dad, and so it was totally something that I want to relive with my kids. But no, I
Like
just
drugs.
yeah, it
You
just you
know,
just
it
get
really
hooked
feels like
at
drugs.
training. Exactly, you get hooked, and I think, it was an experience that I've always looked for, which is what kind of got me excited to do the bodybuilding competition, the NPC,
Yeah.
but nothing like that. I mean, yes, you're around your teammates, but because the bodybuilding, like, style of bikini and all of that shit it's all for yourself. Like, you
Yeah.
get a pro card for yourself, not the fucking whole
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
It was different there. But no, I mean, I imagine when you're getting ready to go out there on the floor and you have your team there rooting for you, even you having your masters. I don't know if you guys call them masters for you guys, but your coaches in your corner, that adrenaline rush makes you it's
Yeah.
probably what keeps you signing up for them.
Yeah. It's
Um,
like a solo team sport, you know? It's so weird to say, but because you're, I mean, you're doing it alone, but at the same time, like you need your team to prepare you, you prepare them, and it does become very much like a family style dynamic, right? But it's still just you at the end of the day.
yeah, no, that's good to know. Are they, something that you guys have to pay for? Because when I did my competitions in the bodybuilding realm, it was something that we paid for, which I thought was weird,
Yeah.
but, I mean, usually I think that's the
Yeah.
same thing. So you
So, certain ones you do have to pay for. A lot of the big ones you have to pay for, and then certain ones are more expensive than others as well. So, pretty much I'd say like 80% of the competitions you are paying for.
interesting.
So when there's super fights and things like that, those ones usually you don't have to pay for, and it's just the one person that you're going against, which was the one that I did recently for main character. And hopefully I think I'm going to be going to Miami for the next main character one, which I'm really excited about because that one's kind of more of a production style. They do like a whole media day and they want you to like come in different forms of costumes and things like that. And you get to pick like a walkout song and stuff.
Oh, that's great.
Um, yeah, and then they televise it on
Mm,
Flow Grappling. So
okay,
that one you don't have to pay for. However, if you are like traveling there and whatnot, if you're not like a black belt professional, then you're probably paying for it, or you have sponsors that are paying for it for you, depending on like your level, you know.
okay, okay. What
Yeah.
belt are you as right now?
I'm just a blue belt.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Hey, it's still you're out there, you're getting it done, and you're, being consistent about it. I think eventually
yeah.
it'll take time. From what I hear, even just to get to that level, it's a lot. I mean, like you
Yeah.
said, you got sick and then you went right back to it. I think the longer you stay out makes you cold.
It's
Your
true.
limberness probably gets cold to that
Yeah.
point as far as like sponsors. I think I seen a couple of sponsors. Are you having any sponsors for your jujitsu stuff?
Yeah, so my gear sponsor is Stay Down, and they're another 10th Planet company as well. So I'm trying to just kind of keep it loyal
Yeah, I hear
to
you.
people that I know personally right now. But I
Great.
am trying to find actually a cannabis sponsor and maybe a shroom sponsor.
That is awesome.
So
Yeah, no,
connect me if you have anybody.
I do. I do have somebody that I can connect you to for the cannabis one, and we do because I work with them as well.
Yeah.
As far as like what I put out for my content right now, obviously it's a lot of maternity workouts and just trying to
Yeah.
put that out. But they've got beverages, and then they've got an actual flower line. So we're gonna circle back on the
Awesome.
DMs on this, and we'll get you set up. Is there anything particular, I feel like the jiu-jitsu community is huge on cannabis and
Mm,
functional mushrooms. They're a lot more open about it. I think other athletes in different sport leagues are slowly starting to talk about it, but they're not as
yeah.
open. I follow Joe Rogan for a good minute now, and that's where I came
Yes.
across Eddie Bravo's stuff, and I got to meet him at a subversive event
He's
a
a
while ago.
character.
He's actually so he's really fucking funny like he is
Yeah.
on the shows. But he's really nice, he didn't maybe I was geeking out because it's like, "Oh shit, it's Eddie Bravo," and
Yeah.
I didn't expect him to be so chill,
Yeah.
and, we happened to be standing in a circle of his athletes, and he came by and he was just like, just we got to chop it up, and I was like, "Oh, that was so super cool." And everyone's
Yeah.
like, "Did you take a picture?" And I'm like, "No, I was just, like, absorbing the energy." I was just
Yeah.
I didn't wanna fangirl his ass. He's probably
Yeah.
like, "Fucking weird." But,
Yeah.
yeah, no, what made you go to 10th Planet? Because I there's a couple different ones in Cali that I've seen, like Pasadena. Which one? I don't know if you do the Pasadena one, but,
Oh, I
um
have not been to Pasadena. I train under Boogie and Geo in Oceanside in San Diego.
oh, okay. Okay.
I which is crazy. They both got their black belts in under 4 years, which is like mind blowing to me. Usually it takes like 10 years to get your black
Yeah,
belt.
for a horse.
um, but their style is very different. I think that had I started at a different gym, I wouldn't have made it that far, to be honest, because my personality and the way, like, I don't want to be told what to do very often, And I feel like a lot of these places, it's like there's rules on what to wear. And, like, I don't know. I've been to a couple gi gyms where they wear the kimono.
Yeah, I was gonna
And
ask about that.
yeah, they're strict about, you have to wear the school's stuff, or if you're a girl and you're doing no-gi, then you have to wear like shorts on top of your pants and things like that. And I'm
Hmm,
just, I don't know.
interesting.
Or if you're late, you can't like step on the mat without acknowledging the coach, and just a lot of like strict rules and things like that. And I just don't mesh well with that. Like I feel like both of my coaches, like, they don't even care whether you like what you call them. They're like, please don't call me like sensei or master or anything like that. Like, I'm just like you know what I mean? Like, we're in this together. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
at the same level as you are, and we're just, you know, learning from each other. And they're very like flowy, and I don't
sure.
know, it's a different vibe. So I feel like my vibe fits in better with that than, the strict respectful
Yes,
style.
the old, like, dojo taekwondo
Yeah,
type
I
of
just
shit.
it couldn't be me.
Yeah. I don't know if I would be good. I'm the same way. I don't like to be told, and I'm realizing that more and more,
Yeah.
which is, probably why I left the banking industry because I'm like, I cannot
I can't imagine you in the banking industry.
I know, it's so weird, right? I built my whole career in banking, like, for, like, the past 20 years, it's just all banking, but then I lived, like
Wow.
it's like living 2 lives, and I think I got
Yeah.
tired of that, and I was like, I can't do that anymore." And not only that, I was having, like, bad attitude problems
Yeah.
with supervisors, and that's when I'm like, "I don't think I could be told anymore what to do because I just don't react to it very well." And
You're
I
like,
think
I was meant to be a boss.
I don't know if it came with motherhood or what, but I'm like,
Yeah.
"Who the fuck are you?" Like, "Nope, that's not gonna pass like, work with me right now." And
Yeah.
it applies to everything in life, like, even, like, it being in the cannabis space, like, I don't care who you are or how big you are, or even like celebrities. I just, if you got good energy and you're respectful, I think that's all that matters. And just being
Yeah.
like aligned with environments that make you feel good. So like you said, like it flows better with who you are. And I think that makes a
Hmm.
world of a difference. Or then
Yeah.
you wouldn't want to go all the time
Yeah.
and
It
be there.
makes learning easier. And I mean, it's hard enough, I feel like it's different from bodybuilding in the fact that like it's so much more mental. With bodybuilding it gets mental when you go through like the trials, so like your pregnancy and then coming back from the pregnancy, like that's when it becomes mental, right? Because you're like, oh my gosh, what was I lifting versus like now, and I have to start building that up again, and it's
Yeah.
frustrating, but you also get rewarded. I think that the highs and lows are a lot more frequent with jujitsu. Like it's the only sport where you're gonna like get your ego tested
And
every, seven
it's
times in
humbling.
5 minutes, you know what I mean? And you're gonna have to tap and then immediately just continue, you know what I mean? It's not like, oh, I get tapped out and I'm done. Like, no,
Or
it's gonna continue. You got to keep rolling until the round's over.
yeah,
And so it teaches you a lot of resilience. And I think that that mental strength that it gives you, like even when you're anxious, like you said, like I get anxiety as well. So I'll still get anxiety like rolling with my friends. You know what I mean? Like my brain will still be like, oh, we're getting into a fight, and then you got to like play this chess situation with people because
yes.
it's like constantly moving. It's not like you can just do whatever you want. Like you're doing something and they're reacting. I don't know. It's very mental, and you got to kind of get knocked down and then get back up over and over again. But then I think that makes the high so much higher and
Yeah.
the reward just so much better.
Yeah, yeah, no, I see some of the, matches, and when I see someone like, "That arm's about to break, that arm is
Oh
about
my
to
gosh. Yeah.
break," the mental game that you guys have to go through of like, "Fuck, I gotta tap out at this point."
Yeah.
Have you ever fear or got in a match to where you're like, "I don't wanna fucking tap out, I feel like I could do this," but then you're just so close to where you're like, "I gotta fucking tap out." Like, are they allowed? I mean, I don't know how far they can go, but are they allowed to, like, go all like, if they wanted to?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm.
They'll only stop kids.
Oh,
In
okay.
adults, they won't stop you. Like people pass out, people's arms get broken. I've seen like all the shoulder injuries. I've seen arms get broken. It happens all the time, which is pretty crazy. I haven't had any bad injuries. I feel like because I'm older, I
Yeah,
tend to like tap earlier to
yeah,
things because, like you were saying, longevity. Like, I'm not in here to be like the world champion right now when I just started. I'm doing it because I love it and it makes me happy. And if I'm putting myself in a situation where I'm going to get injured, that's going to strip that from me, you
yeah,
know?
which
So I try to, one, tap early in training and whatnot. And two, I try to not even think about it. Like, I think a lot of it is mindset too, where I don't tell myself that I'm like sore and broken and hurting. I try to just like maintain that mental headspace of like, I'm not going to get hurt. Everything is going to be fine, you know, and I just shut it out.
yeah, our minds will fuck with our yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
it's
I
some
feel like if you're constantly telling yourself like I could get injured, like you're probably going to injure yourself or stay injured repeatedly,
oh,
because you're programming your brain for that, right?
yeah, it happens to me too as far as weightlifting. You tell yourself, like, "I'm gonna push this weight," or, "I wanna hit some PRs this week," and
Yeah.
then you go home and you're like, "Fuck, that really fucked me up," or your back, decides to tell you, like, "What the fuck were you thinking?"
Yeah.
Back squats are always a challenge for me because at one point I was thinking of trying out for the LFL. I don't know if you ever followed that league. It's ladies. It used to be called ladies lingerie football.
Oh, that would have been cool.
So at one point I was like, okay, I'm going to train for that so I could go to tryouts because they would have tryouts in LA, and I think it was like LA Temptation. So there was a team recent like close enough for me to go try out at, and then they would actually play right here at the Ontario arena. So that's where I got like really into it. I started like changing up my style of training, and football training is way different than training
Oh
for
yeah, I can
a
imagine.
bikini stage. Yeah. So at one point, I could not sit on my fucking ass. Like, I don't know what I did, but
Oh
I go
no.
in and I see a sports doctor, and they're like, you have a bulging disc, you have
Oh
hip dysplasia,
no.
all this shit with my back. And I'm like, oh, okay. So shoulders like fucked up till now. My shoulder is the worst at this point, and I keep telling my husband, like, after this pregnancy, I think I'm going to go see what's wrong with my shoulder. I don't know what's wrong with my shoulder, but I feel like over the years of maybe overtraining, even doing like the little kickboxing classes, and not icing them, not not being religious about the recovery part of
Yes,
it,
yes.
and then you get older, but you're still as active. It's such a mind fuck. Like,
Oh
I don't know
yeah.
what to
Oh
think.
yeah.
Do you do
I have
anything?
to connect you. I'm going to connect you with a girl too. Her name's Day. She's one of my friends and she does like kinesiology
Oh,
work, but she does these cool, like she teaches you how to do different stretches based off of whatever is ailing you.
mm. and
But she
and I
works with
think
this guy called Joel Hippenstein. So I'll
yeah,
connect you for that. But
the hips are no joke at this age. I'm like, and
oh,
after
I feel
popping
you.
out the babies, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
we're really feeling it. But I think that pushes me. I always say having the kids make you want to stay healthy, makes you want to like
Mhm.
prolong your life as much as possible, which is why I'm adamant about eating healthy as well. Not only
Yes.
that, my son is, on the spectrum, nonverbal, and a lot of that has to do with the way he eats. And so I went down that fucking rabbit hole of
Oh my gosh.
all the
You know,
diet.
you're doing the work though, and I feel like a lot of people, it's so sad. Like, I hate being the person that's like, I need to educate you or anything like that, you know? But at the same time, you're like, if I don't say anything, like, you're gonna feed your kid like Pepsi every day and stuff. Like, I'm just staying, like, I'm doing this. I'm like looking at people like this. Like, I don't want to judge you as a mom, but there's a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
You know, like they have no idea what is like all the shit that's in everything.
Yeah,
You
I
know, it's
know. It's like
crazy.
I'm the bad mom for not having like those type of like we don't have cereal. My children have never had cereal in their entire life. And I know people, I mean, we grew up on cereal. I know
Yeah.
I grew up on cereal.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but
I
like,
grew up on everything bad,
yeah, same
you know, like
100%.
Hot Pockets, Gushers,
Oh,
like all the bad stuff
all
that's so
the like
delicious, but
it's
all the
fucking
red
stuff.
dye, like everything.
Yeah, exactly. But I also think we were raised, I mean, I know we're not far apart in age, but my parents were out the fucking door. My parents were divorced, but either way, my dad, who I lived with my dad, he was out the door by 5 a.m. So it was like raise yourself, which
Yeah.
basically meant whatever they had, like cup of noodles, shit that you could make yourself was the
Yeah.
easiest thing to do, and all of it is shit. So
Yeah.
now I think us now being the parent has kind of flipped to where we were more likely to question the things that were being told, like, oh, that's the normal. The more normal it was like, I'm gonna check if that's right. And
Yeah.
then, for me, I end up having a kid who became on the spectrum, I should say. That's a whole different topic because I feel like it came from his vaccinations, which is why
Mm.
I'm like anti vaccination for kids, especially.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't
Um,
get my third one. I did not get. She hasn't gotten any yet,
yeah.
but that's a whole different ballgame with school and stuff in California too. You know how that sucks.
Yeah, no, I mean, just the other day, it's like, how much easier it'd be to just send your kids to school and you have those like 6 to 8 hours
Of
do
freedom.
you to do you, and
Mhm.
while they're, doing who knows what, being taught
Yeah.
who knows what. But I can't, like, something in me is like, nah, I'm not going to do that. My son is, and because of everything that we've gone through with him, my mom gut is like, nope, we're not doing shit for my daughter this time. And this time it's even nothing at all for the baby, because she got her little whatever they give you at the shit that they give you right when they're born. That she did, but I never went and took her for her like
Yeah.
shots, so she doesn't have a card or whatever those
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
cards. And then school time comes around and you're learning like, oh, in California, you have to like register to tell them if you want to homeschool. You got to do this and that. And I'm like, they're mine. I allowed
Yeah.
them out, but you're telling me what to do with my kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy. And I think the more well-rounded we are as parents as far as like making sure we eat right, just to be a good example for one, and then kind of instill that lifestyle in them is
Yeah.
hopefully what happens. But yeah, no, I mean having kids and trying to stay healthy for them is my goal right now. It's changed everything, and just trying to be a good mom and a good person and share it. That's why I do these
Yeah.
podcasts. That's why I do whatever I show on Instagram. Not to be like I'm a fucking guru and I'm perfect,
Right.
but to just maybe one person will be like, "Oh, I had no fucking clue."
Yes.
Would change their perspective on things. So,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of
And
things.
it's not easy, and it's not perfect, right? Like I'll have slip up moments where I'm just like, fuck it, get the pizza, like I'm over it today or whatever. But I think that if you I think about things in like percentages, you know what I mean? Like even when it comes to myself, I'm like, okay, if I'm competing, then I need to have a tighter diet where it's like 90% clean and 10% not clean. If I'm not competing, then I'm like, okay, 75%, and I kind of will play with it depending on where I'm at. So I feel like if you can have some type of good strong baseline, then at least you're doing your best for the most part, right? Then
Yep.
you're setting them up better than the majority.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have a specific diet that you follow? Like, I know for me, I my body reacts better to the carnivore diet,
Mhm.
and it wasn't so much the carnivore diet at first, but I knew from, like, my bodybuilding competition, like, what my body didn't need and my body type versus, like, my husband's body type, and I think men majority can burn calories a lot quicker than women as
Yeah.
we get older. That's a whole different thing, and then
Yeah.
hormones
There's the
come into
blood type too, right? Did
play.
you look into your blood type one?
No, not so much, but
Yeah.
yeah, tell me if you.
Oh, there's like based off your blood type, there's things that are better or worse for you as well.
Mhm.
So, what's weird for me is like my husband likes a lot of steak and red meat and whatnot, and I do as well, but I feel physically better when I have like a lot of fish and
Oh,
certain things. I started looking into the blood type stuff, and
mm,
my blood type says like salmon and things like that. And I'm like, wait a minute, how weird that like I'm craving the things that supposedly work best for me. But as far as diet, I don't have like a specific one per se, but I do a lot of steak. I do a lot of like red meat, fish, salmon, chicken. I haven't really been into too much gluten right now. I feel like because I haven't eaten a lot of it, it jacks me up now if I
yeah,
try.
mhm,
I'll try to do like the healthier versions if I'm really craving it, or I might have like sourdough.
yeah.
So it doesn't like fuck me up as much. But if I have like a flour tortilla or something like that, like I'm probably paying for it later.
Same, same. Yeah, I
So,
would say
yeah, I
I
don't do a ton of dairy. I
I
might do like goat cheese if I'm like craving cheese. Fairlife milk if I want milk, but other than that, it's pretty carnivore, I guess, like yours.
yeah, I think I'm the same, like, as far as my body type, I haven't looked at my blood type reacting, but I think it comes too with, like, our cultural background, like,
Yeah,
where we naturally come from, so
yeah.
that makes sense. I mean, for my husband, he can fucking eat a pizza and it fucking makes him, like, feel lazy and, like, brings him down a little bit, but I think that just depends on, like, what kind of dough is in
Yeah.
that, like, how healthy the carbs are, I should say.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like my body can go without carbs and I'll still be thick. I'll say I'll still be thick. He, like, he needs it almost to add weight because
Okay.
he's got a super fast metabolism.
Yeah.
Even when I did bodybuilding, they're like, "You don't need more than, like" they really fucking starve you, so it was different then, but it's like
Yeah.
25 grams a day of carbs, which was really fucking hard at the time for me.
That's
Now
crazy.
I've gotten used to it and just, like, I didn't like red meat before, and if I ate a steak, I always asked for it well done. Someone else
Wow.
like, you don't like steaks if you like them well done, like, that means
Yeah,
you don't like fucking meat. Now I
yeah.
can go, like, medium at the most part,
Okay.
but ribeyes are my thing, and
Those are
then
my favorite.
just anything that's like we really went down the grass fed trying to find high quality. It's like you start in one spot, and then as you dive into it you start picking up other things and you learn about this and that, and you start figuring out what works for your body. And I can go days without eating any sort of carbs besides getting
Yeah.
it from fruit. But
It's
I
so
think
interesting, right? Like you can really train your body to kind of do anything,
yeah,
you
I
know?
think if you really learn to listen to it, or at least, like, put it through those things and willing to try versus somebody who's always just like, "No, I don't wanna be on this restrict," or they see it as this, like, restrictive lifestyle
Right.
where I honestly feel better, like, my
Yeah.
energy's there. It's just so much worth it to me to eat that way
Yeah.
than to eat shitty,
Yeah.
especially when here you hear, like, if somebody goes to Italy, they tell you, like, "I didn't feel like shit eating af" Joe Rogan talks
Yeah.
about it, like, the pasta there is different,
Oh,
everything
yeah.
different.
I haven't been there either, but I have so many friends and like my parents travel a ton and they tell me like about Spain and how you don't have to refrigerate anything. And I'm like, what? Just our
Yeah,
meat and our eggs, like everything goes bad if
yeah.
it's not refrigerated.
Exactly.
It's gross if you think about it. You know,
Yeah,
I have to try to tell myself like, don't think about it too hard because I still want to eat the meat and I still want to eat the eggs.
here.
But I mean, I would love to like make friends with a California farmer that I can just like buy everything directly from. That would be amazing, you
Uh,
know?
I know, I came across
So,
something on Instagram where it's like a drive-through for raw milk and eggs, and I'm
oh
like,
my gosh.
that's what I need. I always tell my husband, "Maybe we just get, like, a couple chickens and we'll have our own,"
Yeah.
because eggs is super like, we fucking eat eggs like
Yeah. You
crazy.
know, they're so good.
I know, I mean, and it's our
And
go-to
on the
to feed
steak
our kids.
too.
Ooh, yeah,
Eggs with steak together, it's just like
like an
the
over
best.
easy egg
Yes.
with
You just
nice
dip it in
ribeye.
there.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's, like, basically my platters. It's, like, maybe, some sort of really, really high quality cheese if I want it, with a nice steak. Everything's fats, like, for the most
Yeah.
part, protein and
Yeah.
fats, and it's crazy because I had some fucking back and forth with my doctor because when I don't take a lot of vegetables either just because of the
Oh,
pesticide
me either. But it hurts my stomach. Like, if
and
I eat a lot
right,
of broccoli and stuff, it hurts my stomach, and
yep,
I learned a bunch about that on the Joe Rogan podcast
yep,
also,
yep, yep.
where there was that guy that was saying that you don't have to eat any vegetables, and I
Yeah,
was
I
like,
think
"What have I been forcing myself to do my whole life?"
It it's just that there's, like, so many different diet fade fads out there that people you think it's healthy, so then you're
Yeah.
trying it. We've always been told, like, we gotta have our veggies, we gotta have our greens in, but I don't know if it was Paul Saladino. He owns the lineage, but he's super carnivore, and he talks about he does not eat fish, and um he doesn't have veggies at all, and it's like and the
Is the
type of
fish because of the mercury?
yeah, especially because
Mm,
anybody out here, he says that it's, like, really hard to find really good fish that isn't, filled with mercury and the different toxins from how they're raised, farm raised, but he doesn't eat fish and he doesn't eat veggies, and he only eats, like, berries, like, certain fruits he won't touch either.
yeah.
So that was, like, a whole thing for me, and I'm like, "Fuck, what are we gonna eat?" Because it's like
You're like,
no
"What is left?"
exactly. So I pick it every now and again, but, my cholesterol was really high, and I think because of the intake of red meat for me specifically, and, he was like my doctor was trying to tell me that it comes also with our, genetics, and that some people just shouldn't eat red meat because of our liver or kidneys not being able to, like, really flush out what it's supposed to. And then I come across, I can't remember her fucking name. It's a doctor that talks about like how it was all propaganda as far as telling us to lower the LDL number that's supposed to be healthy, but really it like affects your cognitive functionality, and it's
Oh,
really to
shit.
just have you be more brain foggy. So it's, I think now it's like, oh, you're in the good range if you're at 250 milligrams as far as your LDL.
Mm,
Anything over that is concerning, and they try to put you on statins. And she was saying that back in the day, especially like in like Europe, they keep it at 300, 350. I was just saying like the LDL out here, as far as how they measure it, is so different than
from other
like
places.
like in other countries.
Yeah.
And she was just saying like 300 to 350 was a good range of good brain cognitive, because healthy fats is actually what feeds our brain. And this doctor was like, "Well, I think you need to consider probably taking statins." I'm like, "No fucking way." Like, I
Of course,
am,
the solution is always to put you on some type of drug, right?
yeah, yeah. So I had
So
just
they can
read
keep you in the pharmaceutical loop and make money, and it's just
exactly.
ongoing forever.
There's a whole community that talks about this, especially if they're like heavy in eating like a carnivore style type of diet. But yeah, no, I was like, okay, I had just finished reading Gabrielle Leon's Forever Strong, and she's all about longevity and muscle health. And she talks about like understanding when you get your blood work that they're going to look at certain things and try to put you on pharmaceuticals. But if that came to the point where they did do that, to ask for an APO1B test and see what they say. And I did. And I was like, I felt like I was talking back to my doctor. I was like, well, if that's the case, then let's go ahead and test for ApoB. And he was like, almost like, what the fuck?
Why?
How do you know about that?
Yeah.
So he said, nope, actually, let's just not, and we'll just test you again. But maybe you just need to add in more fiber so that your LDL will go down. And then after that, I found out I was pregnant. So I never really did it back. They haven't been,
But he didn't want to test. He didn't want to give you the test.
no, no. And I guess to me, that's interesting. But yeah, no, they're so quick to be like, there's something wrong with your cholesterol in today's society, especially Western society, when a lot of us
Yeah.
are doing this like carnivore style diet and feeling fucking amazing.
Hmm.
So I don't pay attention to it for the most part. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. But I mean, throughout my entire pregnancy, I haven't really changed my diet, and I'm carrying another human. I would think that my blood pressure and all that shit would come back bad. So to me, it was
Yeah.
like, no, you're blowing smoke up my ass and you want to
Yeah.
give me that pill, because some people are like living on that pill right now as far as the statins and just trying to bring their LDL down, or they gave up red meat. So now they're just hungry all the time and eating shit foods. So I'm
It's
like, no.
crazy. I mean, it's very sad. And I know that it's just our country too, which is even more fucked up, you know? But even with my health stuff, I was lucky enough to have a health nutrition coach. Her name is Sarah Piles with Fuel the Fire Nutrition. But she went through her own health journey of getting holistic, 'cause she had like a neurological thing and a gut thing, and she was able to kind of heal herself through her stomach.
Yeah.
um, and so she kind of walked me through step by step, like, okay, use your insurance to go get this blood work ran, but like ask for this test, this test, this test, like ask for this panel. And then she would read them and then she'd be like, okay, now go back and ask for this, this, and this. And I mean, the stuff that the doctors would tell me when I would go is just crazy. Like, first of all, they told me I was obese because of my like height to weight ratio. They like in my chart, it said that I was clinically obese. And I was like, what?
Like,
And
I've
they never
known you for
changed
a
that.
year. I don't know about that. I'm like, nope, there's no way you're fucking obese.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, at that time, I was like 140 and I'm 5'4". So according to them, that equated to me being obese. They were going through my stuff and I would tell them, hey, I want this test. And I would get so much pushback of like, why would you want that? And I would have to keep like almost to the point where you're being a bitch almost, and you're
Yeah,
like, why do I have to be like this? Like, please don't make it weird. Like, it's already awkward for me. I just want this test. Like, I just want to see. It's my body. Like this,
yeah,
the insurance is paying for it. It's my body. Why can't you just run it? And they'd always make it kind of sound like if nothing else is pointing to something, then and
yeah,
I went through a whole like nutrition thing, and they were trying to tell me that the way that I should be like fueling my body is like, because at that time I had like this abnormal bloating. And so they were like, maybe you're eating too much. And after training, maybe you should just have an apple. And I was like, you want me to go train and then eat one apple? Like, are you
right.
okay right now? I'm just
Yeah,
looking at them like, you're fucking crazy. What are you
right.
doing?
Yeah.
Like the solutions are fucking crazy. And they just blanket, like one of the gut doctors I went to, um, I told him, like, do you think that it's this? And it was like something specific. I don't remember what it was. And he's like, you're looking outside and you're trying to name it like it's some kind of like fancy car when it's probably just a Corolla. And so he was pretty much saying, like, just blanket it into whatever fits best for like everyone, because that's probably what it is. And it likely isn't like whatever you think it is, you know? And I'm like,
Yeah.
this, and I never actually found out what was wrong. They did like a million different tests, and my body ended up just kind of healing itself. But
Did you
down
change
that whole
anything?
spiral too, like my husband has Crohn's, and he was on what is it called? Like a plug-in drug for multiple years. And his doctor was world renowned, but she was like anti-cannabis.
Mm,
Granted, this was before it became like technically legal.
yeah,
Um, but she was like, he's like, this is the only thing that helps me be able to eat and like cures the pain in my stomach. And she was just like, this could be making it worse. And like, you need to stay on this drug until like it doesn't work anymore. And when it doesn't work anymore, you can get on the next like drug. And
right.
if you read the things, it's like those infomercials that you see where they're like, take this drug for depression, but then like it might make you want to kill yourself, you know? Like it was like that. It was like, take this for your stomach, but like it might give you cancer, you know, and all these other crazy things.
Side of diarrhea,
During
this and yeah.
Yeah. So during COVID, he went down the spiral too, went down the rabbit hole and was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm just going to get off of it. And he got off and started just
Mm,
smoking regularly and like working out and eating more healthy and cut things out. And he hasn't been on it since. And he's been fine.
yeah,
So it's just wild to me to think about like how often people get trapped in that cycle of
mhm.
like them keeping you sick, you
Yeah,
know?
'cause that's what makes them their fucking money, you know? I think it was on Joe
It's
Rogan.
sad.
She recently had this chick on there, this lady that wrote a book, I can't remember her name, but she was talking about, like, they love to diagnose people because it's about 40 Gs that they get per diagnosis, and when they can't
Yeah.
get that diagnosis and they just fucking flip out, and it's
Yeah.
sad because you do have to speak for yourself, you have to do your own research, you have to basically beg them to put in the blood works that you need for that particular panel,
Yeah.
and when you question them, they're almost offended by it, and to
Yeah.
me, that shows what kind of doctor they are.
Yeah.
So
Like, who made you the doctor?
yeah, like, excuse
That
me,
you're
you don't
even
have
asking
to
me.
right.
How dare you have an opinion on your own body?
Yeah, no, I think it's nuts that they put us in that little, like, they treat us like another number, and it all comes down to people's agendas and how that hospital is getting paid, and then if they were, like, private doctors, the same thing with that.
Yeah.
I just stay away as much as possible. If I have
Yeah.
aches and pains, I pretend like they're not there.
Yeah. Exactly.
I got a couple girlfriends that know holistic doctors, so if worst case comes, I can do that.
Yeah.
But unless, only time I go to the doctor as often as I am right now is when I'm pregnant, and that's because I'm just checking on the baby for the most part. But
Yeah.
even now, like all the different ultrasounds that they offer, I'm like, no, just check the heart and I'll be good. And
I was the same. Yeah. Especially towards the end too. They want to do like all the invasive checks. I'm like, nah, dude.
yeah,
The last month,
yeah,
like don't fucking touch me.
right, yeah, exactly that. This one I just went to yesterday was for like, I don't know, just a supposed to be just a regular checkup, and she's like, maybe we can do a cervical check next checkup, and I'm like, and then when the day comes, I'm like, no, I don't want it. No, thank you.
Yeah.
They just have an attitude. It's so weird.
Yeah. Oh
It's like,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm glad that there's a lot of us now that can lean on different content, thanks to Joe Rogan and other people that are very open about the different things that are not talked about in mainstream
Yeah.
type of shit. And so, for the most part, we just keep advocating for ourselves and advocating for our children. And the worst part is when it happens to your kid and you have to fucking advocate for your kid. And, I got girlfriends that are going through things with hospitals and they don't fucking want to listen to you. And you become the crazy mom. And that's, I
Yeah.
don't want to go through that. So
That's
that
sad.
is, it's a lot. And I'm glad your husband's doing better and was able to lean on cannabis, because I think the gut and the gut is like the main driver in our bodies. And then it kind of like goes into how your brain functions. And if we're not taking care of what we put into our bodies, then everything kind of trickle effects. And
Yeah.
if
And
you're
vice versa.
not,
For me, I think that that's what caused my entire like gut issue was like neurological. Like I think that I was going through stress and
Mhm.
something happened and it just caused my gut to go haywire. And so it was backwards. I had to kind of get back into like a calm mental like state and figure out how to like ground myself again
Yep.
and like de-escalate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
No,
as that
especially
started
for
happening little by little, it started getting better little by little, you know. But that's when I learned that. I was like, wow, this is crazy how in tune your brain and your gut are to each other, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah. No,
Wild.
for sure. Because even when he was talking about my LDL, he was like, okay, well, get more fiber in and maybe try to keep the stress down. I was like, okay, keep the stress down. And it's not even something you think about,
Yeah,
especially if you just got a lot of shit going on, you just kind of
yeah,
deal with it. But then things like that start happening and you're like, okay, maybe I need to do some of this breath work. Do you do any like
yeah,
meditation or
yeah.
yoga, anything like that?
I don't do a ton of yoga. I do a lot of so the breath work stuff I will do if I'm starting to like
Yeah.
panic.
Mhm. Yeah.
I learned how to do like the box breathing or like the inhale and the hold and then the counted
Yeah.
out. I think that that's pretty helpful.
Yep.
Meditation, I like to sauna a lot too and just be
Mm.
in like the quiet.
Yeah.
I don't know, you know, like things like that. But then I also will, this is on the complete flip side, but if I'm like freaking out, sometimes I'll just scream in my car at the top of my lungs.
Yep. Grab a pillow, let it out. Yeah. About the sauna, because I was, the cold plunge is the new thing, and then the infrared
I
sauna.
haven't tried that yet. I haven't tried the cold plunge yet. I'm terrified.
So I came across another female doctor, sports doctor, that was talking about it, and I guess there's a misunderstanding so much for women to use the cold plunge.
That's
For
what I've
guys,
heard.
the guy's body responds to it differently because of hormones and like the way
Mhm.
our cortisol works versus ours. And she was saying that we would benefit more from sauna and the heat, and that like can help regulate hormones, our cortisol. So recently we've been debating cold plunge or a sauna, like for the house, because for the gym.
Mhm.
And I told my husband, like, infrared sauna would be the jam, because one,
Yeah.
it's more beneficial to me as a woman
Mhm.
and obviously him as well, but more beneficial for me and my son who is on the spectrum.
Mhm.
So those things I'm like, okay, maybe when I'm not pregnant, obviously I'll be able to get in them, but I would rarely do it at the gym because I'm kind of a germaphobe. So like at
Yeah.
24 Hour Fitness, I'm like, I don't want to fucking sit in there and
Yeah. Yeah. It is
being
gross in there. I have one at home. I have a small sauna at home, and we're lucky we have one at our dojo.
nice.
So I do that regularly, but I try to do like 25 to 30 minutes, which
Mhm.
I feel like initially I was like, this sounds crazy and it seems overwhelming, but
Yeah.
it's actually like ridiculously good for you. So
Yeah.
if you go down that rabbit hole again of like figuring that out, I think it's like 20 minutes and up is
Yeah.
when you get like the full benefits
Right, right.
of everything. And I mean, you don't have to like die in there. You can like bring your water and
Right.
constantly drink your water and it's just flushing everything back out. But it makes me feel amazing. And you can always like kind of go little by little and like work your way up into it. But like learning how to sweat like that too,
Mhm.
it's definitely a game changer. And it makes
Yeah,
you
I
feel
get really
great.
excited sweating, like, cause I don't know why like you said, you didn't sweat much when you started or whatever, but as I
Yeah.
got older, my sweat was so weird, like, if I didn't take pre-workout and I went to the gym, even if I killed a good leg sesh, my sweat, it would take a really like, at
Yeah.
least 30 minutes for it to actually pick
Just
up.
a little bit, right?
I'm like, "What the fuck is happening here?" And for me, I crave sweating because I know how good it is for you. So, like,
Yeah.
don't get a good sweat, even though I worked out, I just kinda question myself. So, yeah, no, we're looking at a couple different ones that won't take too much space. I think, like, a two-person one would be good, but,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm excited to put that in my postpartum journey and see how that, reflects, especially
It's gonna be
for
so
all
great.
the beneficials, yeah.
I can't
But
believe you're still like lifting and deadlifting all the way up right now too. That's so awesome.
it's
I
such a
got so much shit for
though.
that when I was doing it
Oh,
with my baby. It's people would like comment on my posts and stuff like be careful and like
I don't
is
get it.
this safe and stuff and you're like fuck off.
Oh, 100% fuck off, that's for sure. But, I get dirty I get weird ass looks at the gym. I was telling
Oh
my
yeah.
husband that, the bigger we get into our 3rd trimester, you get in this little, like, super bitch mode where you're like, "What the fuck are you looking at?"
Yeah.
And the
You're like,
baby
it's hard enough that I'm fucking here right now. You know, like you
Yeah,
don't even understand what it takes for me to get here. Just don't fucking look at me.
yeah. And it's also a mind fuck, you're used to a certain look and then you go in there feeling like as much as I know my body's gonna bounce right back, I just feel like a fucking cow, like, this fucking
Yeah,
belly's huge. Everything's huge right now for me,
yeah.
for what I feel like.
And
Everything
then you see everyone else that's in shape and
Yeah.
stuff, and you're just like,
I was like, "Oh, she's so cute," and I'm like, "Dang it." I was like, "Okay, we're gonna get back to that. Don't worry, you're gonna get back to that."
yeah,
But, the regulars I've been going to the same fucking gym for almost a decade now, the same 24 fucking hours. That I feel like, okay, they've seen me look one way and now I'm this way, but the movement, my belt, he moves a lot, especially when I'm at the gym. I don't know if he's reacting to my music or what, but like the other day I was doing leg extensions and I could just see like a group of like younger dudes kind of like weirded out and I looked down and my belly was just like rolling and there's life in there, homies. There's life. But yeah, things I get weird looks at the gym. I don't see very many pregnant women as much as I maybe because I follow a lot of athletes, and body lifters and anything in that realm of the community that I feel like it's normal, but then when I go to the gym, like even my husband, he's like, "I haven't seen one pregnant woman in the gym." So maybe that's why
Yeah,
people are looking at you not to like be like ill, but more like, "Oh, that's strange." But yeah, no, I still have to do all of that shit just to release like, you get in moods when you're pregnant and that hour
yeah,
makes such a world of a difference. I come back and I'm like, "Okay, what do you wanna play today?" Or whatever, whatever the case is, I just
yeah.
feel a lot better or I feel like I achieved what I
And
needed.
you're not consuming anything right now.
No, nope. I did a little bit with my first one, and then with my second one, I definitely did like, I literally consumed till I had to push her out, like,
Yeah,
4 hours before. This time around, I felt like I did the first trimester, like, a little bit here and there, but once I got past that, I just kind of cut it off, and I felt fine, so unless I'm having, like, some sort of pain or
yeah.
something, like, I'm having such a bad day that I have to, like, ease my mind, but no, I just decided, "Let's see how I feel," and I felt good, so I just kind of ran
I
with it,
love that.
and, yeah, now after so long, I don't know how long it's been, but I'm ready. I mean, I'll be popping this baby out in like the next 6 weeks, and after that, I'll be
You're
ready.
like, have my joint ready to go.
Yes, I am ready for some good quality flour. I think too, I came across like some tests that I had seen that showed metals in them, and because of my son, I
Wow.
just want to try to stay away from it. It's so hard nowadays, you want to try to get the cleanest herb out there, but unless you're growing it yourself and you know what kind of soil you're using, there's so many different things in it. So I'm like, fuck
Yeah.
it. Plus, I'm not doing it at home and I'm going to hospital. I don't want to deal with any possibility of
So
having
scary.
surgery. Like, fuck, are they going to check for that?
Hmm.
I used to think, like, what are they checking for every time they fucking check? Can you pee in a cup every time you go in for your every 2 weeks or whatever? But it's just protein that they're checking in your urine. So I know they're not
Yeah.
checking for that. But I always tell people, like, if you're going to consume, do it to where you know like your body should know. As a woman, you know what you're doing. If you're over consuming, if you're doing it for just because you fucking need to do it, I think you need to think about that.
Yeah.
But even just like having to deal with possibilities of CPS and any of that, I don't want to fucking deal with that, because
Yeah.
I've seen enough stories to where you're just trying to show them that you're a good mom, and you become the crazy mom because you can't keep
Yeah.
your temper down. And that would be me. I can
Yeah.
I can't keep my temper down. So let's just keep it clean for the most part. I'll be fine. But
Yeah.
that's why I think my workouts are everything to me right now,
Yeah.
because that's my like high, I should say. Like that
Yeah.
makes me feel fucking good. And so yeah, no, it's been cold turkey. I even cut out coffee this pregnancy. Like, yeah, who
Wow.
am I?
All caffeine?
Most of my caffeine, if I like, let's say we go, I don't know, fucking out to eat, I'll get like a Coke Zero, and I know there's caffeine in that, and aspartame. But I always tell people I pick my fucking poisons. Okay, so
Yeah.
I find my balance in that. But yeah, no, all the caffeine, my fucking pre workouts, and I'm still
Oh
working
my
out.
gosh.
I always joke with my husband, like, who am I? No
You're like
coffee, no,
superwoman right now. You're
no
doing it with
weed,
nothing.
no coffee, no pre workouts. So yeah,
That's wild.
he's he's probably like, please go back to that eventually. Yeah, I'm sure he's dealing with my bitchy ass some days more than normal. But yeah, no, I look forward to my coffees eventually. But I did start changing up the way I consumed coffee prior to my pregnancy. I used to like that used to be part of my morning routine, smoke a bowl, drink coffee on an empty stomach.
Wow.
I don't remember where I think it was in the book Forever Strong that I was reading, or maybe it was what a gut health doctor that was talking on podcasts, and she was talking about like if you could at least wait 2 hours after you woke up to drink coffee and try to not consume coffee on an empty stomach, it would help the cortisol levels. Because I was kind of like, I thought I was like trying, maybe I was going premenopause type of I don't know what was happening, but I felt like my cortisol levels were going up first thing in the morning, which was
Wow.
weird. So I think, like I said, you pay more attention to your body when you start to really be about this life, I should say, and you start paying like, okay, my body's kind of feeling funky right now, or like, why
Yeah.
am I sweating for no reason?
Yeah.
Um, so things like that. So I started to not drink coffee till like after my 2 hours and after I had at least 30 grams of protein in, which I'd normally just get from like my 5 eggs.
Yeah.
And so I think,
5 eggs is crazy. So what's funny to me is people don't know what it takes to like sustain humans, you
oh
know? Like when I was bodybuilding and stuff, I would eat like that. I would have like 5 eggs and like a half of an avocado and
yeah,
like meat with it and just like
yeah,
I had to eat a ton of stuff and they would look at me and be like if I ate that much I'd throw up. And it's like, "Well, do you want to fucking like grow your butt or not?" I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
yeah,
You have to like eat these things if you want your muscles, you
that,
know?
but then they'll eat like fucking toast, like 2 eggs and then fucking toast, and then you're getting all your nutrients from fucking carbs that have
Yeah.
no nutrients in it, and then you're hungry again. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's the other thing I found is like eating a high protein meal first thing in the morning kept me energized and helped with my meals throughout the day. And so
Yes.
Yeah, I know, 5 eggs. Usually, like I said, if we fucking have, I don't know what they come in, like 12 packs, 16 packs, or 18 pack cartons, we can go through that shit in a day because my son
Yeah.
loves eggs. My daughter has decided not to like eggs anymore, but she used to. We kind of force her, like, you're not getting, like, no desserts whatsoever if you don't eat your protein. And I know it sounds funny telling a 4-year-old, like,
Yeah.
your protein today, you're not getting a fucking cookie, but they get so used to, like, eating carbs and shit like that, and if you're the parent that lets them, then that's what they're gonna fucking ask for all the time, which
Yeah.
is because they're a kid. So we
Yeah.
try to give them everything we can as far as protein as much throughout the day, and then, if they want their snack afterwards, that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, protein's big for us, and we get a lot of it from eggs, and that's why we need chickens, and we're like, I don't even know
Yeah.
if we're allowed to have chickens in the neighborhood. We probably need to ask for chick.
It's gonna be great though when you have your baby. With my youngest now, we did a lot of the baby led weaning style where like you would feed it actual food, and
Oh,
people would trip the fuck out because I remember mine was like not even a year. She was maybe like 9 months or something, and I gave her like an entire rib at
oh, yeah.
somebody's like barbecue. But like they can't choke on it because
Yeah.
like they're holding it with the whole thing and they're just biting off what they can chew, you
Yep.
know?
That
So
bone marrow is so
y-
good for them.
yeah, and then even like steak, if you cut it, the size of your finger or whatever, I guess is the rule of thumb,
Yeah.
and so she would just eat actual whole foods starting from like 6 months on. I wouldn't do like puree or anything anymore. I just like gave her like slices of bell peppers and like slices
Oh,
of
yeah.
steak or whatever we were eating. And my mom would freak out because she'd be like, there's like salt and pepper and garlic and things on there,
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's totally fine. Like she's gonna
Yeah.
learn what seasoning tastes like and it's not gonna hurt her stomach. But
That's
it's
so
so
good.
interesting how people like just assume, I don't know, that I guess because they're babies, it's everything's like weak and whatnot. But like if you're building that immune system for them and you're kind of starting them at that age, you're already instilling it, right?
Mhm. Yep. Yeah, no, I did. I wish I had known this with, I say that now because it's like baby 1, baby 2, you learn now, baby 3, what you
Yeah.
need to do. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
you find out all the fucking lead that's in formula, in
Oh
those,
yeah.
like, those instant fucking
It's
oatmeals.
so sad. It's so sad. Like especially with baby stuff. And I don't know if you're able to do it, but sometimes I'll see people that are like feeding their kids the stuff and I'm just like, how do I say anything? Like I really want to say something, but also like I don't want to be this like crazy person. But
Yeah.
it sucks because it's like you don't know.
Yep.
When I was like with my first one, I would give her all that stuff too. And
Yep.
then once I started like looking things up, I was like, holy shit. Like I was like poisoning her
Yep.
with so many things.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it's like there's more in baby stuff,
Yeah, it's
you
sad.
know?
It's like you said, really fucking sad. It really shows you, like, the agenda that has been pushed so hard from just what they can make as far as money. Everything is about money and how much they can make, and it comes with all the poisons that we have to
Right.
consume, unfortunately. So, yeah, no, we go down the rabbit hole of just all the pesticides and all the fucking fake shit that's out there. Even when they talk about, like, the organic section in a grocery store, how all of that's fake. And now it's come down to me, like, grocery shopping, and I'm reading every fucking ingredient. And if I find one that's like, okay, well, trying to find a medium between the kids shit, it's like, okay, well, which one has less ingredients? Because that's the one we're gonna go with. And so
Mhm.
I'll be there and I'm like, one, two, three,
Yeah.
four. I'm in aisles and I see people looking at me, but now I'm used to what we buy. It's the same
Yeah.
fucking shit every time. So,
Yeah.
you know, for the most part, sometimes my husband will come back with something that's like I don't know, the Kodiak is a misunderstanding too. It's like protein French toast dips or something. And I'm like, that has seed oils. And he's like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, get up to par. But he tries to bring something different for the kids that's not too bad. But things like that,
Yeah.
it's it's just we're living in a society that this is what we have, and that's all we
Yeah.
have. So unless you're able to fucking have your own farm and grow your own fucking meats or your own
Or it's
vegetables.
really fucking expensive, you know? Or you go
That's
to like Sprouts or Whole Foods and you can get
yeah.
some stuff, but it's like really fucking expensive.
Yep. Yeah, no, tell me
Sucks.
about it. I saw somebody post something like, "Oh, we did our grocery shopping for the week and it's 150." And I was like, 150? Like we spent a good 3 bills every fucking week. But again, we have a high protein diet and
Yeah,
protein.
you're eating a lot. Yeah.
The proteins are where, the meats is where it's at. And especially
Yeah.
if you're getting high quality grass fed type of fucking meats, you're
So
paying,
expensive. Yeah.
so much more. But to us, we're like, if we're blessed enough to afford it, then we're going to try to eat that way as much as possible. So
Yeah.
every now and again will be bad, like having in and like I haven't had in and out in like I don't fucking know how long.
So good.
Pregnant, I was like, actually, you know what? I fucking Joe Rogan had fucking Theo Vaughn on his podcast recently, and they went
I
down.
love him. He's so
Oh my
funny.
Yeah, I love his podcast, both of their podcasts, obviously. But they had this whole like 15-minute talk about In and Out, and I was like, I want In and Out now. And so my husband actually tried a Dutch flying man,
Oh, where they just like
a
put it
Dutch
on your French fries, right?
no, it's just two
Patties.
hamburger patties. You could get it with cheese. He got single cheese, and then your bun is two grilled pieces of onion, and that's it. So you don't get
Oh,
the buns because usually the buns are where the
okay.
fat is at. But
Yeah,
try
yeah.
it. It looked fire. I got myself just a regular cheeseburger. And I
Yeah.
was like, you do you, and I'm gonna do me right now.
You're like, I need the real thing.
I was like, I don't know how long it's been since I had In and Out. But yeah, no, we just had it recently and then the
So
kids got
good.
steaks. Yeah. It's just it hits differently. But yeah, it's either burgers or tacos. If I'm gonna be bad, that's our jam. And
Yep.
I mean, to people that's not crazy, but it's out of our diet as far as like what we eat regularly.
100%. And I feel like In and Out is the way to go.
Yeah, it's not even as expensive as certain things. Like I think we compared it
Yeah.
to Habit, and I was like, "Damn, Habit was almost like $70 for us all, like for us four."
So
And
expensive.
then In and Out was like $30, and we got shakes on top of that. So I'm like,
Oh my gosh. Did you do the Neapolitan shake?
"No, I didn't know they do that." But we did do like half. I asked for vanilla strawberry. My son loves that,
Okay.
but I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I'm gonna try that next time.
You can
I'm
do
not a
all
big
three.
shake person. That's
What?
I'm not a big like my desserts I crave are like really awkward. Like I like Filipino desserts.
Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. Are you all the way Filipino?
I'm half Filipino. I saw the flag on your
Yeah.
thing and I was like, "Oh, I didn't know she was
You're
Filipino."
like, wait a minute.
A Filipino was like, "Oh, you Filipino? I'm Filipino too." So I didn't want
Yeah.
to come off with that, but yeah, I'm half Filipino, but I was raised with my dad and he's Filipino and Chinese. So I'm Filipino and Chinese and Hispanic, or I should say El Salvadorian. Um,
Oh, nice. Okay, so my mom is Filipino Spanish, and then my dad is full Persian.
oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, and then I was born in Canada. So
Okay. I get it. Now I
interesting,
yeah.
interesting mix. But I freaking love. I was just talking to my mom last night about Saint-Rival.
Oh, yeah, dude. If you have a
Just,
bakery
just
near
butter,
you,
just like 80% butter.
yeah, butter, sugared butter too. All of those.
So good.
Yeah, no, my jam's the ube, anything ube.
Oh
So
my gosh,
halo halo is my
so
jam.
good.
Yeah, I mean with my
You
second,
have to go to a good spot to get it though, because I've went to some
yes,
spots and it's just not good, and I'm like, what the fuck
like
is
basic,
this? Like,
real
you,
basic. Yeah.
yeah, you have to have like the jelly in there, the coconut
All the bits.
jelly. You
Yeah,
have to have all the beans in there. It can't just be like one kind.
yeah, and the
And then
hot
I always know, like, do you put the real ube in the Hello Hello or is it the ice cream? Because I'm gonna like judge them based off that, you know?
right.
Like they need to have the actual like
Yeah.
thick ube in there.
Oh, yeah, no, you can find, like, really it's so hard to find out here too in the Inland Empire, you'll find, like, every now and again, but they do
Yeah.
have, like, this, Filipino supermarket, and then they have a Jolly Bean in there, and then they have a Sweet
Ooh.
Bakery. they have everything in there. So they have all the pastries. But I'm weird like that. I crave, like, my husband will be cool with like cookies and ice cream. And I'm like, no, I want a flan or I want a baklava. He's like, the fuck? Like,
You know, the flan is so different too from like the majority of flan that's here,
oh man.
right? Like it's not like the jello-y flan. It's like that thick, like
Yeah.
custardy
It's
flan.
like
My grandma
Filipino
used to make it,
flan.
and she
There's
told me
like,
she used 15 egg yolks, like just the yolks.
oh, I've never made it. I don't even know what the fuck it's made out of. I should probably look into that. I'm like, well, it's made
I
out of
think it's like literally just like I think it's egg yolks and then evaporated milk,
bomb.
sugar, a shit ton of sugar. And then what's the other milk that's in the can that's not
Condensed
evaporated?
condensed milk.
Yes, that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just all the stuff that will fuck up your stomach, but
Oh,
like
yeah.
ridiculously good.
Yeah, no, I like all those type of desserts where he'll be good with, like, cookies and ice cream. We used to like Yogurtland, but now I'm just like, it's mediocre. I have to have, like, my cultural background yogurt, sweet or something. I don't know what it is with me when it comes to sweets. But with this baby, because it's a boy, I'm a fucking hamburger, taco, steak type of chick. With my daughter, I was craving every possible sweetness of whatever sweet I can get. So that's the difference there. Thankfully, maybe that's why my weight is able to stay down, not too much sugar. But yeah, no, halo halo. We'll have to have like a Filipino trip one day, like
Oh my
a
gosh,
good
I'm so down.
a good sesh with a Filipino meal. That would be fucking in and out, and
Oh
then
yeah. We'll
I'll do my
smoke
dish.
and then we'll go to like Jollibee and then eat some
Exactly.
hello hello after.
There you go. That's definitely gonna be in the books for sure. Okay, well, I think we're gonna cut it out. I didn't even realize my time. I'm sorry if you guys had plans. Um, I could talk to you all day. Obviously, we have so much aligned when it comes to our lifestyles. And so, I love everything that you're doing and just, stay you. And if there's anything, we could ever do for you to hype you up and support you in your matches, let us know. We'll put you out there.
Yay, awesome. Thank you. Thanks for
Of
having me.
of course. Yeah. So we'll catch up on the side. And that's a wrap, guys.